Who are we now? Where are we now? Where are we going now? And I'm not just talking about me and my next guest, longtime co-host Bart Winkler. We're going to get some Brewers and see what he thinks about what's going on and what will happen in the offseason and where we're going. All that's next here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Great to have you along here on Locked On Brewers. Yeah, 2 weeks ago today, well, this night we were starting the playoffs, and it ended so briefly. Some of us, like me, I don't know about my guest, if he's moved on. He's got other things going on as well. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Download us on Google, Spotify, Apple. We're on all the major downloads. And, of course, on YouTube, our growing YouTube page. Go to YouTube, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and, of course, you will be part of the viewing part, the 30 minutes each day here on Locked On Brewers. Bart Winkler joining us right now. He's everywhere as well. Former co-host at WSSP.
Everywhere and also impossibly nowhere.
Like I said, where are we now? Who are we now? What are we now? Is that the Brewers or is that you and I?
Well, whatever it is, whenever I can cross paths again with Charles Nelson Riley Freeman, I'm always happy to.
All right. I know you had some problem with the playoff format. Yeah, you had a lot of it because I think you all the 100 win teams were out, and the 92 win team, our favorite team, Milwaukee Brewers, done. Now, is that just like sour grapes because our team is done, or because I don't know? I mean, we had the opportunity. It's our fault. The Brewers should still be playing. I mean, we had an opportunity. It's a home game. Didn't get it done against Arizona, and they weren't coming in here, Bart, like flying high. They had lost like 4 in a row. And yeah.
So I don't like the playoff format. I do think it's unfair, we're not unfair, but it doesn't reward the regular season success. And I can talk about that in like 10 seconds here, but this was all spurred because the Brewers lost. The Brewers lost, and I thought, wow, I'm okay with, like, I'm not okay with it, but we've had a lot of heartbreaking losses, and I've moved on quickly. What I didn't realize was my anger was buried deep within, under, the watermelon seeds and gum that's in your stomach.
Yeah.
And when the Diamondbacks beat the Dodgers, it all came rushing out because the Diamondbacks, who were losing series to the White Sox in the final week of the season, like, people want to say, oh, it's for the hottest team. The hottest team is reward. The Diamondbacks they didn't get hot until Game 5 when they hit all those home runs. So I just think that, like, people, basically what I said was, the Diamondbacks aren't good. This is garbage. This is a garbage system. And the retort was, well, upsets happen, whatever. That's fine. I'm not saying, hey, the champion should go to the team with the highest payroll. What I'm saying is, baseball's got a system where you play 162 games, and it is the attrition is part of it. Like, every day, save your pitchers, rest up. You don't want the doubleheader that day, because then every day and then you get to the playoffs and you're just like, whatever. Baseball's wild and weird, and let's figure out what happens.
And I think Winker.
Yeah. Well, see, so there is some of our own blame. But then what baseball, I think, thinks is, we'll reward the teams that had the best record by putting them to the divisional round. That's a reward. You get to skip around in the playoffs. Absolute reward. But the week layoff is a punishment. It is a negative thing. So, like, yes, the Dodgers lost, and yes, the Braves lost. The Orioles, you don't go 103 wins and then lose like that. And plus, this whole quirky best of 3, best of 5, best of 7. It's just, there's got to be, I'm fine with upsets. I'm fine with teams like the Diamondbacks rolling through. But there's got to be, like, why have 162 games if the playoffs is just going to be a coin flip. Now I'm supposed to, if I'm an Orioles fan, Brewers fans, we're used to it because we're masochistic that way.
Yeah.
But if I'm an Orioles fan, I'm like, I just watched a 103 win baseball team lose in a weekend, and now I have to care about this game on May 3rd. I feel for that.
Well, but here's to that though. The Brewers had 3 games here. They didn't get to the 3rd game. Arizona didn't even pitch their top pitcher in game 1. We had it all lined up. I mean, we didn't have Brandon Woodruff, but I mean, you got Corbin Burns and Freddie Peralta right there on your home. They came into our stadium, our jam-packed stadium, and beat our team twice. They had a disadvantage, and they were able to overcome it.
Yeah, and I think like just go out there and win. You got to win. Yes, you got to win, but there is more variance in baseball. It is like, did the Brewers not play their best because Evan Longoria somehow stretched out on a play that robbed a bunch of runs? Like there's too much variance like that. And then to that point, so that's why it is that's why the Brewers' failure, that's why all these teams that beat Milwaukee go on to the World Series, is because they beat us in these early rounds now. And then for a team like the Diamondbacks, like they get hot and they get momentum. The Rangers get hot, get momentum. And then you embrace that, hey, you're in the playoffs. This is, the Phillies. They're basically the analogy I used was everybody's on like a jog. The playoffs are like a jog.
Mm-hmm.
When you see somebody at the stoplight jogging in place and they look dumb because the stoplight's red.
I did that with the train in our neighborhood the other day.
They're trying to, keep the blood flowing.
Yeah.
But baseball tells them, stop. Orioles, stop. No momentum for you. And then the other teams right by him. It's not the best way with 162 games. It's not the best way. So that's the playoffs. From the Brewers' point of things, I think what is interesting is there is a lot of variance and it is unpredictable, yet it does take incredible ineptitude to be the team that's always losing.
Well, that's the equalizer.
Yeah. So I do wonder, like,
you shouldn't deserve to go.
So at what point is like the baseball playoffs? I wish it was a 5-game series we got to play. The Nationals that year we might have had our best team. That 2019 team was good, but we're out in 1 game. It's not, that's not what you want to see.
Makes the errors trade it a couple of weeks later.
Yes. But from the Brewers standpoint, you got to look at your team and be like, so I always said the Packers were built to lose an NFC Championship game. They were good enough to get there, not good enough to get further. The Brewers are built to lose in the first round of the playoffs. Like they will get there, and that's exciting, I guess. But there's not remember 2018, Chuck, the level of just the fact that we made the playoffs was incredible. And oh my God, this is great because it had been so long. That is making the playoffs now. People scoff at it. It's like, oh, okay, I guess you want tickets? No, I'll wait. Maybe if they advance around, like that's where we're at now. So at some point, they either need to say this isn't working, let's scrap it and build a new, or what is the kind of move we can make to be a team that doesn't play for just a Netflix binge marathon of time in the playoffs.
Where was all this great wisdom when we were together on a radio station? Where was this? Did you find something during COVID?
No.
Where was this?
You're finally listening.
I'm starting to agree with you more these days.
That's because now you listen to what I say. Before it was always you say what you say and then wait to get your next point. If we could just have a conversation, it'd be pretty good.
All right. We'll come right back. I want to ask Bart, what do you think is going to go forward here? Chuck Freeman, along with special guest Bart Winkler here on Locked. He's not special guest. He's just a guest. I don't want to. He's a special guest. He's special for coming on. But let's get to the show is brought to you, Bart, by Bird Dogs. Bird Dog pants, the shorts. I got them. I wear them every day, and I got some on right now. The sweatpants are fantastic. The pants, you can wear them anywhere. And not only can you wear them anywhere, you can wear them on the golf course. You could wear them going out to eat. You can wear them just hanging out. You can wear them just around the couch because, the good thing about these bird dog pants and the shorts, they stretch, they fit your comfort. If you're a little heavier, they stretch out. They're not that restricting cotton that you get with shorts or pants. And if you're one of those guys who sweats, they have that anti-stink sweat wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day long. You need to go to birddogs.com, locked on XXX, or enter the promo code locked on XXX at checkout for the free bird dogs water bottle with your order. birddogs.com/locked on XXX, a free water bottle at checkout. But really, go there for the clothes, the pants, the shorts. I wore my pants out of the golf course, and they're fantastic. This was like in June in Wisconsin. It doesn't get warm here till July, and you wear these outside, and it stretches, and you for athletic wear, and they're perfect. But go to Bird Dogs right now, pick up that. I wish I had that water bottle here, but you get it with the water. It's great. It's lasting, and take it on the course with you. That water bottle. Fill it up with anything. Enter the promo code LOCKEDON That's birddogs.com/LOCKEDON for that free water bottle at checkout. But go there for the clothes and the shorts with the inner lining. It is fantastic. And it keeps you comfort. It stretches with you all day long. That is Bird Dogs. Chuck Freeman, Bart Winkler here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. We'll bring back Bart in a second here, and we'll talk about what happens next with the Brewers. Who now? Where now? What now? All that next year at Bart Winkler. Welcome back. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. This is Chuck Freeman and Bart Winkler, my former co-host in Milwaukee. And who knows, could be my future co-host once again. If, I don't know. I don't want to go down that road. I feel like we go down that road every time we're on a show together. But let's talk about this offseason. We're both disappointed the way it ended. Do you see Mark A spending any money here? Obviously, he holds the key to the kingdom.
Do I see him spending any money?
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. We need to upgrade this payroll so we're not getting guys off the scrap heap like we always do.
No. I mean, the one time he spent money lately, it was because he was in collector mode, where he got Andrew McCutchen and said, well, it's Andrew McCutchen. I mean, why didn't we sign Cody Bellinger? There's a bunch of these guys that we could sign for. And I think if we did take anything, which when I talked to you last week on the Bart Winkler show,
yes,
we didn't take much from the GM press conference, Matt Arnold, but there was a kind of realization like this can only get you so far. Mm-hmm. I do wonder if eventually their organizational philosophy changes, where they need the Pete Alonsos of the world. Like, whatever it should have took you to get him, you should have got him. Again, these are the kind of things that they need.
Yeah, I just said that on a pod. I've been saying that for weeks. Either that or you're listening to my podcast on a daily basis. Yes, I think they need to go out and get him before the Cubs do. I mean, how come the Cubs will look at him? We did. Now, was that just a conversation between Arnold and Stearns in the offs? During the spring break, they had nothing going on. They just, during that All-Star break, and they decided to talk about things, and all of a sudden Pete Alonso came up, and that's where those rumors came from.
I don't know. That's why.
I mean, we're not really interested in him, are we? We'd love to be, but come on.
What, fans?
Well, no, the Brewers. You and I want Pete Alonso, but come on.
How much does it suck that David Stearns is the GM of the Mets?
Oh, why would it suck?
Because
they want him out already. They want the woman from Miami as their GM. They do.
Why don't we get her?
I was listening to New York Sports Talk, and they were saying, well, it's the woman. What's her name? Kim. Yes. She does a better job. She's got a better track record than Stearns. Why didn't we hire her if we knew she was going to lose her job with Miami? So maybe we should consider, maybe a switch, because she did a pretty good job there.
But Stearns, both fan bases knew. We've been talking about Stearns Mets for 10 years.
Yep.
Because what if David Stearns could have a payroll? You know, what if instead of having to do this, he could have a payroll? And this just accentuates the fact that David Stearns is looking for the ability to do things where he was hamstrung here. Like, we're not saying have a $300 million payroll. We're saying, like, when there's a guy that signs for 1 year, $10 million somewhere else, we couldn't have done that. I mean, now we're going to get tricked into signing Mark Canha again on a $12 million option.
Oh, no, that's a good thing.
I don't know.
For one, I mean, that shouldn't be their biggest offseason signing. It might be, but I want Canha back.
Yeah, I want him back, but then for what?
Well, he also got to be better.
No, with all due respect, and I know that he embraced Milwaukee and is a big foodie, and he had some good moments for him, and I generally like him as a person and a player. But with all due respect, there are like 20 superstars in Major League Baseball and then 300 Mark Canhas.
Are you saying we have enough Mark Canhas on this team? Or we've had enough Mark Canhas in the last 15 years?
I'm saying we are the Mark Canha of baseball.
All right, so we both want the Alonso deal. I want Canha back. I mean, but I'll tell you what, if you trade for Pete Alonso, I'll forget Mark Canha ever existed. Yeah, I'll just pretend that never happened. But you got to figure out the third base spot. Now they're talking about Tyler Black maybe playing first base and, you know, maybe third base. I don't know, but that third base spot is something you got to figure out too.
This Brewers team, they are so, they get to the playoffs and lose. So they keep our interest always. And then there's always prospects coming up that, like, all of a sudden we think, oh, Tyler Black. Our best prospects of the last, we've had Corey Ray on the show. He vanished. We had Keston here on the show. Where did he go? So excuse me for not getting super hype about Tyler Black's AA highlights.
Yeah.
I just can't, like, Jackson Churio is one thing. This guy can't miss. Okay. Everybody else, it's like, I'm just tired of, I don't know. When are we going to be good?
You mean great? We're good. Like this season, most of this season, watching our team play, and, you know, I know you watch every game when you're not playing with your kid. But this was, in some cases, it was not fun watching some of these games. I mean, it was like 1-0 in the 7th inning. And here the Brewers are 15 up, 15 down. You know, I don't know. It didn't get exciting to me until August. Then I really thought, hey, this is something you sink your teeth in with this team, and then they let us down in the postseason.
Yeah, you probably won't follow this, but I'm a big Marvel guy. You know, the Iron Mans and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm not into it. Yeah.
Today is actually the calendar day when Iron Man sacrificed himself for humanity. October 17th, 2023 in the movies. But when Marvel presents its slate, it says, look at these great films we have. Captain America, Winter Soldier, Iron Man. Look at all the Avengers, Guardians, Spider-Man. They don't say, like, the new Ant-Man or the Secret Invasion show. That's what baseball did. Baseball's like, look at our game. It's so fun. It's quick. It's speedy. There's home runs. There's action. You never saw the Brewers pop in those highlights. Baseball's got to ignore the Brewers because these games are slogs. These games are dumb. These games are long. These games shouldn't have hired the writers from Rick and Morty. Very inside Marvel reference joke. But it's just like, yes. And now, Chuck, all of that, every single game you watched meant nothing because they lost in 27 hours.
It did. And now they got to take apart. I mean, they got to keep all those young guys, and maybe they're going to put one of those young guys on the trade block, but you're going to see a whole different team next year. I had Vinny Rottino on the other day, and he said, yeah, you're going to see a different team next year out there. And who knows? Burns coming back, you know, Woodruff, we don't know. I mean, there's so many things that, you know,
you think Burns gets traded now? Because Woody's out?
I think, well, I don't know. I think that you almost have to, don't you? I mean, to get some more pieces. You need to prove the offense. I know the pitching was so good this year with the Brewers, but you gotta You got to fix this all. I think this is on Arnold going into the season, man. He did not he put too much on Rowdy Tellez's plate. That guy was never good enough to be an everyday third place in the order hitter. Yet that's where they put him. You're batting third, big fella, and playing first base every day. And he had a horrible season. He got hurt, but he wasn't having a very good season before that.
I think that every team, I've always been, we need championships, championship or bust. Every team, I would like them to have some sort of direction to the championship. Like the Bucks clearly are in a win now mode, and the Packers are trying to figure out what life looks like after Rodgers. So this isn't a Super Bowl year, but they still have, like, that is a short-term goal. They don't want to still be fighting a quarterback in 6-7 years. They want to, they're on some sort of trajectory, you would hope. With the Brewers, again, I can complain about baseball and what the playoffs are like, but the results show that the Brewers just can't, doesn't matter what they are. They can't figure it out, whether they're on the road or at home. They can't get past this round. And a lot of times it feels like we either make a mistake on defense or it's the offense. I mean, remember the one year where the Brewers are like, they were going to prioritize pitching and defense. And they said, like, we want to win every game like 2-0. That's an awful way to live. You need to score. You need home runs.
Yeah.
You can't like, what was the game I was watching? It was like,
we don't have the home runs anymore. We used to have the home runs and
when you watch any other of these teams, Rangers, Astros, Diamondbacks, Phillies, and if they go down big, like 5-0 in the first inning, do you assume, oh, that game's over? No. With the Brewers, I mean, even at 2-0.
Yeah, well, I know.
The Diamondbacks took like a 1-run lead. And it's like 3-2, and we're like, that's it. We're not coming back.
The line goes up to Arizona minus 900 as they take a 1-0 lead, the live line.
You can't. So that has to change. Like, and I know that they've had these guys that, the Chris Carters of the world that will hit 40 homers and then bat, 15 nickels and a dime. Like, they're so bad. But they got to have, I don't know where these people are. I don't know what you're going to have to get them, but prioritize offense a little more where, I mean, ever since, who was our last third baseman you could count on?
Paul Molitor.
Seriously.
Moustakas?
Maybe. Corey Koski?
Ryan Braun when he was there?
I mean, Wes Helms? Tony Graffinino? David Bell? Who are all these people? What are we doing?
All right, hang on. Some final thoughts with Bart coming up here as we head down the home stretch. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. FanDuel. Hey, who doesn't like betting? October is back. You can make your postseason debut with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel, join it today. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to create your new account today. Baseball, basketball, NFL, it's all on there. You don't want to wait the whole game to put a bet in? Well, you can get a W by predicting what's going to happen at the next at bat with quick bets. Head on over to FanDuel.com/lockedon right now. Step to the plate this postseason. $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. There's a game going on tonight. Of course, there's NHL and the NFL going on, and get it in, man. Visit FanDuel and get that bonus $200 in bonus bets. Baseball, they have it all on there. That's why they're America's #1 sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Chuck Freeman here, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Follow us along Google, Spotify, Apple. We're the #1 Brewer podcast on the internet because of you great fans out there. And of course, follow us along on YouTube. Go to YouTube, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. They'll alert you every time we drop an episode. Follow me on Twitter, Chuck Freeman, FREIMUND. And of course, my guest today, Bart Winkler, close, dear, personal friend, at Winks Thinks, WINKTHIN.
My graphic says at Winks Thinks. There's two ats.
There's two. No, don't use two ats.
And you got to update to the X.
Error.
You have the Twitter bird. You got to get the X.
Oh, I haven't moved on. I'll be still calling it Twitter for the next foreseeable future.
Don't you miss the days, Chuck, when you used to get a phone book?
Oh yeah, or you can call information and get somebody's phone numbers.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
411. Oh, sure.
All right, Bart. Where now? Who now? What now? You tell me with the Milwaukee Brewers, not us.
Where now?
Brewers. Where now?
Nashville.
Who now?
Who now? The Nashville Sounds.
You mean our future is the Nashville? We're just going to keep building through that farm system, huh? Not a great way to go, but
no, I mean the Brewers are moving.
Oh, they're moving to Nashville.
Yeah.
Well, that's another topic. So you don't think this bill's going to get passed, huh?
No, I don't know. I'm not paying attention to that. It's
Lockdown Sounds. What we calling them?
Lockdown. Yeah. Where now? I just want to see. Well, none of this matters till we know who the manager is.
Yeah. Who now? Who would be the next manager?
Dude, don't you like I kind of still think he's coming back, but you don't delay bad news or good news.
Yeah, I think
delay good news, right?
Or the Mets just like waiting for the postseason to end, and then they're going to drop their big bomb that they're hiring Craig Counsell.
If you watch that Stearns press conference, which I did, it very much seemed like they have Counsell locked in on their radar.
What made you think that?
It's like, oh, whoever the manager is, he'll be agreement. It just seemed like the media was asking questions about Counsell, and the Mets were answering without using his name. It just seemed like a lot of movies. Right. Oh, I'd like a Rob Lowe type for this character. And then they say, why don't we just call Rob Lowe? See if he'll do it. That's what I think the Mets want, a Craig Counsell type manager. They're going to there's no way he doesn't get offers. Like how much contact do you think David Stearns and Counsell have had in the last week?
Oh, there's tampering going on probably. Oh, absolutely.
Well, he's not under contract.
Well, he is until October 31st, from what I understand. I think Counsell's on until, and maybe that's part of the deal that the Brewers wants some. Yeah, I saw where it's reported he's under contract to the 31st, but there's ways around that. The Mets could give up a minor leaguer.
No, it's interesting. The Brewers thought one of their seasons would last through October 31st.
October 1st, it should be.
Yeah, it should be.
October 1st, yes. All right. Bart, thanks as always. Appreciate it. Get you on a little bit later on in the fall. And, we'll see. I think the next move that happens, I think the Counsell, whether he stays or goes, will be the answer before the non-tender date on November 15th. I think we'll know something about we should know before then. With delaying it, I mean, we should know something I would guess by the beginning of November, don't you think?
Who are you rooting for in the World Series?
Oh, I don't care. This Castellanos thing. You see what he did the other day to Matt Weiner?
Yeah, you don't you can have conversation. You don't always have to ask a question.
Yes.
Hey, you hit 2 home runs out there. What a big night. The player, he's been doing this for 20 years. He understands what's needed of him.
If you went up to LeBron James and said that, LeBron, 52 points tonight. You think he's not gonna say, what's a question?
What you're asking is, hey, that's pretty incredible. How do you feel about 52? You can have a conversation. It doesn't need to be a Q&A like it's a scripted play.
So that stuff, Bryce Harper with the stare down stuff.
What is there anything we have? What do we disagree on right now?
I don't know.
There's got to be something.
The new Bart Winkler.
Huh?
This is the new Bart Winkler. This is the new Chuck and Winkler right here.
There's got to be something to disagree on.
Hey, I think like relatives, the first couple hours you're spending good time together. And by the second or third day, it's like you want them out of the house.
Oh yeah. If we ever do a show together, it can't be 4 hours.
No.
3
hours. 3.
And then by Friday, you got to give one of us Friday off. Just rotate, because
So 4 days a week, 3 hours a day.
well, one of us will work the Friday with like a guest host or something, but one of us need off.
So we don't destroy each other.
Yeah.
All right.
If you want the show to be good, those are our demands.
Very good. All right, Bart, thanks. We'll talk to you a little bit later on. Bart Winkler, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Again, follow us on Google, Spotify, Apple, all on the major apps. Download us on YouTube as well. Go to YouTube, search Locked On Brewers, and we're right there, our growing YouTube audience. We'll be here all off-season talking Brewers baseball with you here on Locked On Brewers. I'm Chuck Freeman. Follow me along at Chuck Freeman, Chuck Freimund. So long, everybody.